Hey there everyone again. This is Shannon Posh, the Recyclista. Just here in the same spot as I was last week. I have figured out, I am so tired. I have figured out another spot in my house where I want to do this. But it's not working out because my kids have been sick. And so they have changed my life this whole week. But the fact that they were sick actually led to this abundance of thrifted goods that you see before you, because I spent the entire week last week nursing my sick children, and then my husband got sick towards the end of the week, and by Saturday I said, honey, I am leaving and I will be gone all day. And so I did a big thrifting trip. I went to 6 stores, but not my close by stores. I went to some, the closest one was about a half hour away. And then there's a little route that I do. And then I ended up back home. It took like 8, 9, 10 hours, something, with all the driving and traffic and things. So it was a little bit closer to Seattle. Not quite in Seattle, but I usually find good things when I kind of go out of my little zone. So I have a lot to show you. But I am like super tired because my son was sick last week and he's just getting better, and then he got the stomach flu. So we were up pretty much all last night. So after this is done, they're all resting. I think my husband got it too again, something, I don't know. They're all resting. I'm going to do this and then I'm going to crash. So next time, possibly, I will be in a different location with light and not in the middle of the night because I'm avoiding my children. Okay, so I'm going to start with this year. I really want to try to go to more estate sales and yard sales. I'm very much a thrift store shopper. So on my way out Saturday, I passed an estate sale. It's still pretty cold and sunny, so there's not a lot of yard sales because it's not season yet here in the Pacific Northwest. So I saw an estate sale sign and I said, I should go. So I did pick up a few things. Sorry, my hair's a mess too. Ugh. And I'll just show those to you really quickly. I don't do a lot of flush, again, but here is Winnie the Pooh. And he's classic, and he's a Gund, and he's, I'm going to have a hard time thinking of words. Articulated? I don't know. Whatever that is, where their arms and legs move. And he's a big size. I think he's supposed to have a red vest, but I'm not sure. But of course, because I picked up him, I had to get Tigger and I had to get Owl. So I had never seen Owl before in the classic Pooh, and it's super cute. So anyway, I picked those up. They're clean and they have their little ear taggies, which I like, and we'll see what we can do with those. So that was at that yard sale. That yard sale, I also got this mug, or estate sale, sorry. And you can probably see it's Shaun the Sheep. So if you don't know Shaun the Sheep, you should. It's a spin-off from Wallace and Gromit. If you don't know Wallace and Gromit, you should. So you can YouTube it. But they threw that little mug in for free, so we love that. And then I got some cookbooks. So again, yeah, I don't go after a whole lot of books, although I do like books, but I tend to buy the wrong ones. So I don't know that these are worth a ton, but they're books about cooking in your RV, and I just thought that was timely. So even if I throw them together, put them together in a lot. And then this one looks like it'll do pretty well. It's the Farm Journals Pie book, and it's vintage, and so it's got its little cover, and crackety crack. I can throw that in my Etsy shop. Okay, so I'm not going to do this in any particular order because I've kind of lost track of which store had which things. So maybe I'll just work my way through the table. I'll just start maybe some of the things I'm excited about, but not so excited about. All right, so this was kind of fun. I thought it was a kit. I don't know if you can see it with the glare, because I knocked my piles over. The glare here, but it's a sock monkey. So I thought it was a kit, but as I looked closer, I realized someone had just like pulled the pages out of a magazine, like an old Women's Day or something, and it's how to make a sock monkey puppet. But what's awesome is that inside are the socks. The real socks from Sears, those Rockford socks that you make the classic sock monkey from, but they're like new old stock Sears Rockford socks. I don't know. I don't know that they're worth a ton because they're still making these kits today, but I just thought that was fun and very interesting, so I picked that up. I think I'll just move some things over here. Now, speaking of patterns, I buy patterns. I don't know why, because I still have tons, but I still keep buying them. So I've got some Vogue, and you can see they're 50 cents a piece. I like to pay 25 cents or 10 cents is better, but Vogue, I'll pay 50. And they're little doll patterns, and some aren't so great, but I've got some other ones. This last one's a really vintage McCall's one for Alexanderkins dolls and things. It's terrible. It's called Chubby Doll. Chubby Doll's Wardrobe. Okay, so anyway, those are those little doll patterns. Even if I have to lot them up, it'll be fun. Now, again, I don't sell a lot of, I just decided I sell sewing patterns. I don't sell children's sewing patterns. And it's just funny how kind of as you go into a niche, how you decide what you like and what you don't, and you kind of just start narrowing it down. Don't sell a lot of children's. But this thrift store I was at had a big old stack. See this stack? So each envelope has 2 patterns in it, and they're called, I don't think those were on sale, but anyway, I don't know if you can see it. It's terrible light. Okay, here we go. They're called Children's Corner patterns, and they're all kids, and I think there's some doubles. I haven't even like looked into them yet, but see, I got this big old stack. I think there's 20. Oh, and there's a square dance pattern on the back. That's totally separate. But anyway, the reason I picked those up is because little girls' dresses that have smocking are very popular to sell. People want them and they like them. So all of those girls' dresses had smocking, so what could I do? I had to get them. Okay, let's talk mugs. I always check the mugs. One of the first sections in a thrift store, mug section. But I'm very, very selective. Otherwise, I could fill up my house with mugs. And so certain mugs do take longer to sell than others, and I don't really want that business model, like random obscure, and it's going to take 20 years to sell. So I just stick with the mugs that I know. So I know these. Okay, so these are, see the blue on the inside, the red and the green. These are marked on the bottom, which is always nice. Denby, okay? This pattern's called Harlequin. Now Denby Harlequin in general does pretty well. These mugs are not so great, but I didn't spend a lot on them. I just pick them up. You have to be careful because Gibson, I think it's Gibson, makes very similar speckled red, blue, green thing. So don't get Gibson. That's not going to sell. But Denby Harlequin is, even if I don't get a lot, it'll sell. So that's what we like to have move. This one's fun. This is the letter P. My last name is Posh. I might keep this one. Not sure. I just listed one. I just found one and listed one. The signature on the bottom is Starla. I have to look at it again. It's Starla Halfman, and she makes these for Anthropology. So, anyway, I listed one with a different letter, and I saw the one with the P, and I said, well, at the very least, I just make a quick listing based off my other one, and we'll see how it goes. Or I'll keep it. Shaun the Sheep we saw. Okay, and then this one is Chaleur, the Masters Impressionists. So this one is a Seurat painting, and again, it's another kind of mug that are very popular, and it'll sell eventually. So anyway, I picked that up. Here's the bottom. If you want to see it, it's pretty clear what it is. Chaleur. Okay, so now this was in like near the mug section, and this I'm very excited about because this is a piece of glass. It is a tumbler. And I don't know if you all can guess. Maybe you guys know more about this than I do. But I saw it and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. So I looked on the bottom. And the sticker is Mackenzie Childs. Okay, so I don't know a ton. I just know she's been on my bucket list for a long time to look at glasses and dishware. things like that. And that it might just be from the 80s and 90s. I don't know if she's still doing anything, but I haven't done my research yet. But this one glass, I'm gonna ask a pretty penny for it. And so I was just so excited to finally find something from, you know, one of those things that you've always been looking for, and you find it. I love that. Okay, so my day was gone. I was doing good, doing really good. Oh, one more coffee mug right in everybody's face. This one actually might be the most valuable thing on my table, believe it or not. This funky looking mug. And I need to get, see, I can't have this dark background, but anyway, I don't have anything. Okay, look at that. So you see the shape of that? The shape of that mug. It's a drill bit. And as I looked it up real quick, it's a drill bit. It's modeled after like oil drilling. So it's by, you can see the color on the bottom here, the clay. So that's Frankoma. I noticed it, I recognized it. And Frankoma does do a lot of these funky shaped mugs. And then in it also had like a C15 or something like that. And so it doesn't say Frankoma, but I knew it. And I looked up C15 on my phone real quick, Frankoma, and found out it was a drill bit and that it was selling for good prices. And I found one on WorthPoint between $50 and $70 for this color, this dark blue. So it turned out better than I even expected. So we'll see how that one does. Okay, so odds and ends. Right up front, we've got these little jars. And this is something I haven't really done before, but I was on a roll, so I just kept buying stuff. They are little. I don't have them untaped yet. But you can see the spot for the spoon. So they are little restaurant ware. These are by Shenango, I think. These two are Shenango, and then this one is Warwick, but they're all restaurant ware, little jam pots. Super cute, collectible. Okay, so those should do pretty good. They're so sturdy. I love that. Okay, so then here's some, you know, sometimes I buy things just because they're on sale. Just because I know they'll sell. Not my thing. Longaberger, okay, kind of a classic. Their little pattern. And salt and pepper. It still has a big hunk of salt I gotta get out. But yeah, they were the cheap ticket of the day price, and so I grabbed those because they'll sell. But I'm just not thrilled. Whatever. Okay, so utensils, flatware. A lot of times when I do this trip that I did, and I go out of our little area, now my local Goodwills have decided they don't sell flatware anymore. Okay, so but I have a nice backlog of flatware, so I really should not be worried. And I've been coming across flatware. Remember last week? Flatware, I bought it online, sold some of it already. That other flatware I did find in the thrift store, sold that already too. Okay, so flatware. I will have much more to say about that in the future. So, I wasn't thrilled with the flatware finds this time. I usually find good stuff, but it's okay. It's good. This is a serving little pie server, but it's Oneida Community, Paul Revere, very common, popular. A couple little bags of vintagey flowery flatware, and the name of the pattern, Granada Rose, is written right on it. I love when they do that. Some other kind of flatware. Okay, so then I got these. These are Reed and Barton, and they're salad. They're both there. They're taped together. But the salad servers, it's a hammered pattern, which I've sold before. So then I went back. Once I saw these, I said, all right, I'll do it. And I went back to the bag of flatware that had some of the more serving pieces that go with it. So I went ahead and grabbed those. And then bonus, in that bag was also another Reed and Barton little casserole spoon. Whatever. Bread and butter. Bread and butter. These I'm very excited about. It's a carving knife and a carving fork. But look at that awesome mid-century looking handle. It's like a composite black. They're just stainless Japan, but they're sleek and they're very mid-century. And yeah, those will go pretty quick. Or at least by the time the holidays roll around and people want things like this for their table. So that was fun. And then another bag had this in it. This is a cheese slicer. And they are generally from Norway or Sweden, the Scandinavian countries, because there is a dish. I had a buyer tell me the name of the dish one time, what it was, but I couldn't tell you. Geltoast or something like that. I said it all wrong. Anyway, and so these sell all the time. If you ever spot these for $1 or so, they sell $15, $18, no problem. This one happens to be by Hickory Farms, which is not Scandinavian, but it sells anyway because I've sold it before a couple times. So I grabbed that. Now here's some little mystery things that were in the bag with this, and maybe you can help me with this. There's 2 of them, and when you squeeze them, they go like that. So what is that for? It's not an egg separator, right? I mean, that's just a... So maybe you put it in and it doesn't agitate, and so it froths or something? Anyway, there's 2 of them. It's a mystery. Have not delved into it too deeply. Now, here's some stuff I'm really excited about. Okay, so I, as you know, maybe from being in my store, I like Scandinavian vintage. And Big Joe Flint, I am totally not saying that in the Norwegian way. I don't even know, but you know, a lot of times my conversations about vintage go on inside my head, so I never hear anybody say this out loud. So I say Big Joe Flint. So that's what we're going to say today. But anyway, very classic shape to these wall plaques. They're ceramic. Super cute little folksy pictures on them. And anyway, I've sold these little plaques before, but it was just fun to find a matching set. Love that. Now, speaking of Fig Joe, so exciting. I have to tell you, I'm short. So when I go to the thrift store, I try to remember to try to look up, or if my husband's with me, he does the top rows. Well, this one thrift store has their like collectible section. They have so much of it that they spill out into, you know, they spill out to like places you can reach. So you don't have to ask for help for these collectibles. So there's a little shelf up above my head and there's a stack of plates. And I was just ignoring it because I don't do a lot of plates. But I happened to see a little bowl kind of way up here at the top of the plates. And I said, oh, let me see what that is. So I grabbed the bowl and I flipped it. You know, I'm looking down at it. Big Joe Flint. And I was like, no way. And so this, I have it upside down. It's an elephant. Like a circus elephant. Okay? And so it was sitting right on top of the plate that goes with it. Kids' plate. There's supposed to be a mug and stuff like that, it turns out. Anyway, I just about died. Big Joe Flint. Scandinavian vintage. Circus animals. Children's stuff. It was crazy. It just like made me so excited. So then this little thing was in the bag hanging next to it. Now this is all I could see. A silverware roll with blades sticking out of it. So the lady, when I was asking her something about the price, I said, can I see these? Like, what are these? Okay, so I know they're knives, obviously. And there's a bunch of them. It unrolls. Okay. But, so I just pulled one out, and they're not Bakelite. They're celluloid handles, but they look like they've never been used. And they are Firth stainless. So they're just beautiful in really good condition. And so I just love that too. Anyway, just kind of boring, plain, nothing special. I still like them anyway. So I guess I did find some good flatware. And there's more. Okay, so I'm almost done. Okay, I'm almost done. One little quick pickup was this cute little picture frame. And right now there's a postcard stuck inside of it. And this is one of these, I don't know, it's not made out of wood. It's like a composite material, kind of compressed type stuff. And it is advertising Lake Placid, New York right here. But it's one of those decal stickers that, you know, they probably made these for all over the United States. And then different gift shops would just stick their own sticker, you know, Lake Placid. There you go. Super cute though. I mean, it's got Native Americans and they're looking at this postcard. And I don't know. I just really liked it. And it was cheap. So I grabbed that. And then another Goodwill that I go to has They're collectibles, also accessible. And this was hanging there. Okay, now normally I'm not too excited about these types of knives. Okay, the handles, yes, they are Bakelite. And I probably have several of these already in a stash. I know I do. But original box, this just makes me happy. And so they've never been used. And there's, you know, it's not a crazy good brand. They're just called like Jewel Edge or something like that. But Bakelite, brand new old stock. Makes me happy. Okay, speaking of new old stock. See, I got this variety of stuff. I just was on a roll. Anyway, these are Latin flashcards. Now, back in the day, when I was first starting off selling on Etsy, played around with the idea of having a shop, which other people were doing and still are doing, where you sell ephemera and you sell little pieces, parts of things to collage artists and mixed media artists and things like that. So you just kind of gather up random stuff and you sell it. Well, I would pick up these boxes of flashcards and I would sell them in like chunks of 50. And so I would, you know, they could get 50 random Latin words for their collage work. But this is a sealed box of them. So anyway, I've sold the boxes whole before, but I've never had a sealed one. So I don't think it's as old as some of them, but it's sealed and it's vintage and it's Latin. You know somebody's going to want that. Okay, three more things. This is a cookie press. Okay, so you can flip this up and it's all right there. And they did kind of go nutso taping it, but I can just, what I'll do is just take the tape off this top part. But other than that, it looks like it's never been used. And it's by Sears. It's not one of the big money ones. But around the holidays, these do sell for more. But because it's not used and it's in its box, I'm just going to list it and get a fairly good, just process it through, right? Get a good price for it. Now this was one last fun little thing. Vintage thingy. Okay, so it's a shoe brush. I see these stuff like this all the time. And I always get suckered in by it, but then I'm like, why did I buy this? But anyway, so it's like a shoe shine, you know, brush your shoes kind of thing. But and it came in its original box. Then I noticed it has a zipper, right? So I was like, what's inside that zipper? And so I unzipped it, and it's the little manicure set inside. And I just said, I gotta have that. Okay, so I got suckered in again. But my husband is going to list this one. He's going to open another Etsy shop that he's had closed for a while, and he's going to put that in it. So, the very last thing I'm going to show you, I can't believe we got through this quickly. I hope I didn't talk too fast. But, let me move poo. I found these wall hangings, okay, very mid-century. And I did call my husband and say, I'm going to get these, I'm thinking, because they weren't expensive, and would you ship them for me? And he said he would. So, here, I'm going to hide behind him for a minute so you can see them. Now, the only thing that I think is a tad bit odd about them is that they, a lot of times, two panels like this would be like mirror images, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they'd mirror each other because that would be symmetrical. So it's almost like you could sell these one at a time. So I have to figure out what to do about that. Because these are identical. They don't mirror. So they don't balance each other. And I'm trying to figure out who they are. If it's a mother and a kid, or if it's a husband and a wife. Anyway, they would be really cool if they were wood. But they're not. So the frame is wood. Obviously there's like a burlappy background. This is like treasure craft stuff, if you are familiar with that. It's like, it's plaster, and it's painted to look like wood. So, still researching, haven't seen a ton, totally like it, but it's definitely got that mid-century vibe going on, and maybe I'll just sell one at a time. I don't know. What do you think? Okay, so that is my finds for the thrifting weekend, for my big day, and I quite enjoyed myself. So anyway, yeah, today on the blog at the Recyclista, www.therecyclista.com. The link is below. I launched a post today that was about how to research vintage. So a lot of you are already sellers, but some of you might be beginners, or you just sell clothing and you see all this kind of stuff and you say, what in the world, how do you know how to price these things? So in the blog, I just kind of go through 4 things that I use to find comps and to find prices for my items. So maybe that'll help you too. So go ahead, head over to the blog, sign up for my newsletter, and I am working my best to not get sick myself. I have remained unscathed, but we will see. So one other thing I wanted to say, oh yeah, subscribe. I do plan on making more of these videos, so if you would like to see more of the things that I find, go ahead and subscribe. And have a good night.